Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It is Sunshine. I'm so glad you guys are joining me today. We are doing a brand new episode of Spirit Uncensored on YouTube, and I'm so glad to be here on this new type of platform. I know I've been here, but it's been a little while. So today we're going to be talking about something brand new, and I hope everybody's going to join us from the One Tribe on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Stitch, and everywhere else that we are going. So I'm very excited to be here with you guys, and I enjoy it. I'm excited about it. So today we're going to be talking about energy. Energy is so important. Hello, Brandon, Rachel. Hello, Joe Cruz. I hope you guys are going to join us today. You know, I think we're living in some different times. I had to really think about how to title this show. After we are like post-election, maybe just about a week out of post-election results, and people are still really struggling. Not everybody, but some people are really struggling with the results of that. And so there's a lot of negative and positive energy that is floating around the world stage in our families and our friend groups. I've tried to avoid social media this week, but there is not a single news channel that is not covering the fact that people have went kind of insane with emotion, whether they're for this election result or whether they're against the election result. They are very, very upset. And so I definitely want to mention that it is still so important for us to protect our own energy and to recognize our energy, and for it to be such an important thing. So we need to remember that as we're picking up all of these people's different energy, it's very important to figure out whether the energy is coming from us or them. So we have some comments tonight, which I'm so happy about. It looks like most of our comments are coming from the YouTube channel. We have Andrea here. So let me know how you guys are feeling, Brandon, Rachel, Andrea, and Joe. How are you guys coping with the changes in the political atmosphere around your friends and family? I've never seen such a polarized election, or for the results to have been so negative. And so I know people are picking up these anxious emotions from just regular interactions. And so I want to talk about, how do we clear the energy? Someone just asked me this week, how do I clear this negative energy? If I have someone in my family and I realize that they are just not taking this well and every conversation is becoming an argument, how do I deal with that? And I'm going to talk a little bit today about how we pick up negative energy in our environment. And sometimes it can be picked up from people. As you know, there are people that you can hang out with, spend some time with, or even be on the phone with. And after you get done, how many of you have had that feeling where you feel completely drained? Like you're just so tired. You don't want to talk to anybody. You know, if you work in a very toxic environment, you'll see this a lot, where when you come home, you have nothing left to give. And it's not this physical exhaustion. It's really like a very deep exhaustion that kind of runs mentally. It runs mentally parallel with your physical body, to where you just don't want to talk. You really don't want to share your feelings. You're not up for debate or conversation because you just feel so drained. It's not necessarily this bone tired feeling, but when you've been drained of energy, it is such an intense feeling because you have nothing left to give. It's like someone took the cork and pulled it out of the bottom of you, and all of your energy is just drained out of you. How many of you had that experience, either at a job or in a relationship or with family members or friends? I know that I definitely have been through this many times with families and friends, where every time I would get around a person, in fact, in the very beginning of my empath career, before I became a professional medium, I think at that time I was just a professional friend, because everyone came to me with their problems. And I was always forever the listening ear. And during these things, I thought it was okay for me to just listen to their problems and empathize and give them advice. I had no idea that as they were giving out these conversations and that they were complaining about their life or their marriage, that at the same time they were discharging this negative energy and this sadness. I was actually absorbing all of this negative energy. So maybe they were someone that loved to complain. I have a few family members that nothing is ever quite good enough. Hi, everybody. They always seem to find something to complain about, no matter what it is. And when you have these types of friends, you love them in spite of it. Or if they're a family member, you love them in spite of it. But at the same time, you would love to just have some positive energy. But since you know that they are kind of negative, you try to empathize with them. So what happens is you have a person here, right? This person's giving out negative energy, which you're absorbing by listening to this with empathy. And then in response to them giving you their complaints, you're actually giving them your empathy, which just means that you're digesting their leftovers and giving them fresh energy. So whenever you're giving energy, whether it's in the form of empathy, sympathy, love, or just interacting with them, it's not a bad thing to give them attention and empathy, but you have to realize that if they're constantly feeding you you won't believe what he did to me. You won't believe what she said to me. I worked all day. I'm so tired. I never have enough money. And these kids, and I tell you, and my ex-husband and, and my weight and my car doesn't run right. There's like so much energy coming in to you that is negatively charged, and you're eating that up with your eyes, your ears, and even when you give back to them your positivity, like, oh, it's going to be okay. Have you ever met somebody that's right in the thick or the throes of a negative atmosphere and they don't want to hear your positive suggestions? It's like, oh, you can get another job. No, I can't. Or, your ex is an ex for the reason, oh, they're always in my life. They just don't want to feel positive because they're really resonating with that negativity. And you try to give them something positive, but they don't want to hear it at that time, right? So let's see what our comments have to say today. Yeah, Jay Cruz says, you're so right, Sunshine. How many of you guys have had this? And Brandon says, welcome in and please share and like the live. Thank you so much, Brandon. He's from our TikTok One Tribe group family. Of course, we have Andrea. Welcome in, everybody. Enjoy this live with medium Sunshine Frost. And of course, Mr. Christensen. Good evening, everyone. So Jay Cruz says, I absolutely know what you're talking about, Sunshine. So this is so good to have you guys joining us. But when you're giving somebody this energy, you're trying to bring them out of the actual hole that they're in, and you keep throwing them the life raft, and they keep cutting off the wires. They keep throwing it back to you. So what do you do in this situation? Well, that's number one. You can identify where you're feeling negative. So in this situation, you definitely can pick up negative energy. So that's one way. We're going to talk about how to fix that. But I want to talk about, hello, Miss Rhonda. I want to talk about a situation where you're coming home and you're not feeling so good and you don't have a lot of energy to give to yourself. I want to know, what energy do you think is picking up, that you're picking up throughout the day, so that you actually don't have the energy you need to finish your day and your evening out strong? What energy do you think that is, guys? And we have just a little tribe tonight, so I'm hoping you guys can give us some beautiful feedback on the live tonight. Some people don't even know why they pick up negative energy. They'll call me and they'll do an energy clearing saying, Sunshine, I just don't feel like myself. I don't feel quite right. I feel drained. I feel very negative. Sometimes people will feel like they need to sleep all the time. Sometimes people feel like they need to do nothing. They just don't have any energy to give anybody. And sometimes, let's see, Brandon says it's all the energy that's been released from helping others. Yes, so true. Andrea says energy is so important. This is absolutely a fact. What about this? What if I told you that every person has within them a certain amount of nanograms every day of energy? That's how Spirit taught it to me. They said that, Sunshine, you have an amazing ability to connect with Spirit and have an amazing gift to work with others. However, you only have a certain amount of energy to give to others each day, and you're wasting your energy by giving energy to things you actually don't want. So, for instance, if I want to have a good day, I may spend a few minutes praying before I start my day or a few minutes meditating. However, if I get stuck in traffic, in a traffic jam, I'll give so much energy to being angry in the beginning, being very angry, being frustrated. I would give energy to the other, like, why is this happening? I can't believe how late I am. So really, how much energy did I give toward the positive part, which was the praying and the meditating, right? And the mantras or the affirmations, as opposed to being stuck in bad traffic, dealing with a bad driver, or dealing with just a careless wreck that could have totally been avoided. Which one do you think I was giving my energy to in the beginning of this process before I knew about nanograms of energy? Think about yourselves in the morning. How much energy are you giving to praying when you wake up? Giving a mantra like today is the best day ever. Every day in the Lord is a good day. Think about that. What energy are you giving to the positivity? And then what energy are you giving to negativity? Because I want you to think of your mind as a teeter-totter. That's a simple way, right? Very simple. If we think about our mind as a teeter-totter, we can think about the energy that we're in control of and recognize. Jean says, I just breathe through my situations. Thank you, Jean. And Brandon says, so redirect where you allow your energy to go or to flow. Yes, not only redirect it, but begin to choose before the day begins how you're going to live out your day, regardless of what comes to you. So Brandon says really 40 to positive and 60 to negative, to be honest. Yeah, that's about right. So depending on how much energy we spend, the work that we do on ourselves is the most important work we can do because it's what's centering the teeter-totter. Okay. So when we're saying the day starts with a prayer, when we're saying we start the day with positive mantra, affirmations, meditations, or breathing practice, we've already decided to have a centered day that's going to be feeling gratitude and feeling blessed. So that's what we're in control of, right? Now, a lot of people go throughout their day wanting to have a good day, but not aware that we only have so many nanograms of energy. So I'm going to tell you, for teaching purposes, most people have about 200 nanograms of energy a day. This is a teaching I've been teaching for many years. My students at the Spiritual Academy really like it. And I think that when we acknowledge energy in this way, we're able to, as humans, visualize it, and it makes it easier even for little kids. I teach my teenagers and my elementary school students about nanograms of energy. So we want to talk about these nanograms as having 200 nanograms a day. Now, listen, everything you do is either subtracting or depositing energy, everything. And I'm talking to people in their actual lives. So when you pray and meditate, when you pray, you are giving a little bit of energy, but you're putting it towards something that is a reflection that can come right back to you. So prayer is our energy leaving to connect to a higher source, but typically it's actually like a horseshoe. So you may cry out and give a lot of energy in prayer, but remember that just like the rain, it's gonna drizzle down. It might drizzle down in different parts of your life at different moments, but every prayer is like good water being taken up or good spirit being taken up. And when you need it the most, in the most thirsty and parched moments of your life, that's when those prayers begin to rain down little blessings on us. So your prayers may not be answered in that moment that you pray them, but remember, it's kind of like storing up for the future blessings. So saying those prayers may take a few minutes, a few nanograms of energy and a little, extra time, but I assure you that you're going to get that back in the harvest later. Another way to look at this is when you do a mantra. I love and I live by mantra, mudras, mantras, affirmations. They're all basically the same premise, which is a set of guidelines that I speak life into myself and I manifest them. So when I speak my affirmations, I feel not only am I giving energy, but I'm receiving it. So I wake up with the attitude that every day in the Lord is a good day. I am blessed above all today. I am full of love. I am centered. I am grateful. I am living the life I want to live. I'm living the moments I need to be here. I am surrounded. One of my favorite mantras I say every day is, I am a rich child of a wealthy universe. And that never matters how much money I have in the bank or how much work I have done or haven't done. I just know that spiritually, I'm a rich child of a wealthy universe. And whatever I truly want, I can manifest through love, whether it's from a source I know or a source I don't know. I just know it's going to come. So mantras are so important. They give energy out, but we can empower ourselves. It's like pressing a power button for ourselves. So if there was a low setting, this is like putting yourself on the high setting, okay? Now, another thing that we do to bring up our energy is music and singing. It doesn't matter how terrible or off key you sing. The most important thing that you can remember is that you are singing is a way of actually vibrating your chakras. So it doesn't matter if it's or if it's it doesn't matter, or it can be the Black Eyed Peas, but whatever it is, it's so important that we do it in such a way that activates. So the more excited we get to sing a song, it doesn't matter if it's 50 Cent in the club, it doesn't matter if it's Trevor Hall. The more excited you are to sing it, the more you align your chakras. And by doing the voice activation of singing, we actually add energy to our nanograms each day, okay? So these are some ways that we bring them in. So Brandon says, so I heard not to pray when you're angry because angry is being a lower vibration, and wait till you are calm to pray. Any thoughts? That's a great question. That is a great question. I would actually say I disagree with it, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree with it. Because while negativity, just like jealousy, envy, and grief, are all lower vibrational emotions, meaning that they register with a lower vibrational frequency, it actually, the only way sometimes to get us out of that vibrational frequency is to allow ourselves to pray. Sometimes the very act of praying is like shifting the teeter-totter from what I don't have and what I need to remembering what I do have and what I can have and what I need is going to be okay. So I feel like prayer is our way of asking for help outside of ourselves from a higher source. Meditation is accepting that it already is happening and you're just allowing that process of the figure eight to happen. And breathing is how we calm and center the physical body by centering it. So they're all very important and they all bring in different aspects of the same light, which is aligning with our frequency and centering ourselves in the highest good, okay? So let's think about that. If we're in a lower vibration, just like grief is a really low vibration, and I deal with people in grief every day because I work as a Christian clairvoyant and spirit medium. So I know that we need those prayers when people are feeling down. And that's what intercessory prayer is. It's praying for someone who may not know that they need it, praying for someone that may not realize that they're lost, praying for someone who is stuck in a battle, they're embroiled in something spiritual like addiction or the loss of a loved one or anger with God or feeling as if there's no higher power in control, or how could these terrible things happen? And there's a great video I did on why does God allow suffering. If you are kind of dealing with that, I recommend you go back and watch that video. It's a few back. But energetically speaking, it is okay to pray when you're angry. I have prayed when I'm angry. I often pray. I take a deep breath and I go, help me to control the discharge of energy. Oops, there's my phone. Sorry about that. I often breathe and I ask to control my discharge of energy, because remember, all anger is you discharging your anger on yourself and others. And if you begin to really look and moderate yourself emotionally, that everything is energetic and everything is energy, you can realize that you don't have to give emotion to everything, right? You don't have to answer every fight that calls to you. You don't have to defend every insult that's thrown your way. You don't have to get involved in every drama that is playing out before you. You can really choose to pull your energy back and be like, this isn't my monkeys and this isn't even my zoo. I can hear it, I can see it, but I don't need to engage my energy, right? Because I only have 200 nanograms of energy a day. And I can't be giving it to that if I'm trying to manifest a better marriage, a better family, a cleaner house, a better job, better health. Oh my, that's a big one. I want to manifest a better autoimmune system. I want to manifest losing weight. How can I do these things if I'm giving my energy away to someone that actually isn't going to even really respect what I'm saying to them? They're not going to really change. They're not going to stop cheating. They're not going to stop doing what they're doing. So why am I giving it so much of my energy if I'm actually giving away my hard-earned energy? If you looked at energy the way you looked at money, I think you would all begin to get very self-aware. And so for the next few weeks, I want you to think of $200 as $200 is going to be like 200 cash dollars a day. And every time you're giving energy to somebody that doesn't need it, I want you to think about what would that be like if you were giving them $50 of your time? Because that's really what you're doing. Right? That really is. Yeah, you like that? Amazing. Not my monkeys and not my zoo. So true. Think about that, guys. What do you think? Joe Cruz says, just let them do it. Andrea says, don't give away your energy. So think about this. If you have 200 nanograms of energy, what are you giving it away on? Tell me. I want everybody here to tell me, from Mr. Christensen to Andrea, Caitlin, what are you giving your energy away to? And please make sure you're sharing on your destinations. Share this to all of your friends. Your energy is like your money. Don't just let people take it from you. Let them earn it. Amen. Your children automatically earn your energy. However, even your littles don't need all of your energy. What energy can you give them? Because I know that energy is a currency, and I just spent a week with my children trying to clean out old things. And it was a lot of me trying to be serious and them trying to play and then bantering back and forth. And oftentimes we were laughing one minute and then we were frustrated the next, and then trying to get back on track again. So I had a choice to take a deep breath and hold my comments in and breathe it out through my feet, or I had the option to expel it and discharge energy onto my children. What do you think? Marty says, what a great teaching and a good outlook. I love that. Thank you so much. What do you guys think? Have you ever discharged energy on somebody and then realized you probably shouldn't have said what you said? Brandon says, I share my energy with way too many people, helping others without taking me time. So I want you to think about that. What would your bank account look like at the end of the week if everybody that you met, you gave away $200 to a day? What's your bank account going to be at the end of the week? You tell me that. If every time, right, if every time, every day you gave away energy to this, that, and this, and that, and this, and that, at the end of the week, what happens when it's time for you to go on a date and manifest a happy marriage? or it's time for you to clean your own house, or it's time for you to take care of your mom and deal with her. Maybe she's a tough cookie and it's not a great relationship. What if it's finally time for you to give time to your husband for the women, and you've given all of it to your children and your girlfriends and your job? Or for the men, you've given all your energy to making a life for your family and working so hard to keep the grass and the lawn and the cars and the boss off your back that you have nothing left to give your wife. You just don't have it. Who and what is going to go bankrupt? Is it the things that you actually care about? Is that what's going to suffer the most? Because I can tell you, just doing this work and having failed at this multiple times, it's your own personal life, guys. It's your own personal life that will suffer. So while you think your girlfriend that's in the middle of that divorce needs your energy, or that brother who's got a drug addiction needs your energy, and he's arguing with his girlfriend and you're giving him nonstop advice, or the friend that can't seem to keep $1 in their pocket and they're always crying poor mouth, right? Rachel says, I would be negative. I need to focus on refilling. So yeah, we're going to talk about this, because I know for a fact the most generous and gentle people are the ones that are going to bankrupt themselves more quickly than the selfish ones. This message isn't for selfish people, because they don't need to be told to share energy or preserve their energy, because they do that naturally. They'll preserve their own and take yours. Marty says, I'm looking for spare energy right now under the couch cushions. That is so cute. So thinking about that, energy is like a bank account, and we can take energy out and we can put energy in. Okay. So I want you to think about that as we think about those things that we do that are conscious and choices. Now I'm going to talk about some of the energetics that are not really talked about a lot, but are very conscious choices, but we don't recognize them as draining. Are you ready? Miss Jean says, I spend energy on myself and I seldom have negative energy around me anymore. Can I give you a little secret to everything? We all love Marty's comment. That's so cute. Let me give you this little bit of information. When you stop giving energy to negative, draining people, they will not talk to you anymore, because you're not a supply for them. When you stop siding with them and giving them your energy, which is empathy, advice, and getting upset. Oh my God, your husband did what? I can't believe your kids did what? Whatever energy you're giving them, you're feeding them your excitement, your tears, your anger, you're feeding them your gossip, whatever you're giving them. When you stop doing that and you no longer are feeding into that, they will not make time to call you. Very quickly, you will be the last person on the speed dial. So just know that if you want to get rid of that toxic, draining relationship, you say something like, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry you feel that way. Instead of, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Literally, they will not call you when you start saying things like, I'm sorry that didn't work out, or I'm sorry you feel that way, or I hope things get better. Instead of feeding them energetics, you're just giving them like very neutral ground answers. They don't want to hear it. And they'll immediately call your brother, your sister, your friend, your spouse. They don't even want to listen. I told them and they didn't even care. Because why? You didn't give the reaction. And the reaction is what they needed to feed on. It's because their energy wells are broken and they're allowing other people to destroy their boundaries because they have none. So they don't know why you're not doing the same for them. They want to pass the buck on to you. Okay? But that's the key to it. If you stop feeding them energy, just like if you stop feeding them, they will stop coming around. So that's 100% true. Rhonda says, yep, 100% true. J. Cruz says, I 100% agree. Caitlin says, I don't have time for people like that anymore. But a lot of us do. We have family members that can be like that. All right, here are some ways that people unintentionally drain their own energy, and let's talk about those. Are you ready? Number one, nobody's going to like this, music. Music is one of the easiest ways to drain your energy. Believe it or not, you drain your energy with music by listening to music that is no longer resonating with who you are. How many of you used to love Nirvana back in the day? But now if you listen to it, you immediately become like upset or depressed, or even the lyrics just don't resonate with who you are today. And to go back and sing some of the, and I'm going to throw some people under the bus, but like Metallica or Nirvana. I'm trying to think of some different Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, I loved Highway to Hell, AC/DC. I love that. But then now that I listen to it, I'm like, is this something I really want to be singing with all my heart, mind, body, and spirit? And I'm not even talking about as a Christian. I'm just saying as a person. Do I want to sing Imagine Dragons, I'm Hellbound, and all of these things? Like, do I really want to say those things out loud? And do I want to declare that to the universe? So I'm very, very careful about the music I listen to now. I mean, I used to love the rhythms of all of it, but at the same time, I'm beginning to realize that some energies really are just not an energy that's going to give you your money back, so to speak. So there's music you can buy into. When you listen to it, you get more pumped up. And this is obviously preference, but I can go to the gym and listen to music at the gym that actually pulls the energy up into the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat chakra. I'm feeling good. My heart chakra is open. But there is a lot of songs that will pull you down, like pull you down. And I asked Spirit, what music should I listen to? And you know what they told me? Look at the lead singer of any band. How did the lead singer turn out? And I actually made it a commitment not to listen to music that was written by someone that's committed suicide after they wrote the song. If that's what they did with their life, is sing those songs, write those songs, and journey, and then those songs played in their own head to a point where it was sadness and heaviness and grief and despair, and they got hooked into addiction or suicide, I just cannot give my energy to it. I wish them the best, but I'm not going to lower my higher vibration to be in that. And Caitlin says, I love my heavy metal. Yeah, Mr. Sunshine loves rock and roll, so I'm not against all rock and roll. I just want you to be aware of certain music. Like, I still love Imagine Dragons. I just turn that part of the song down. I just don't sing it. I just don't sing that part. So you have to think about it. And Brandon says, yeah, there's a lot of music that has heaviness and sadness to it. So it is so true. But you got to think of this. I have little ears that's always listening to whatever I sing or listen to. My little kids will be singing and listening to it. Even my teenagers will be listening to it. What do I really want to put in their heads? Because music has the ability to amplify energy. That's what music is. It's almost like putting crystals all the way around your body and then just turning up the frequency. That's what music does. And we know this because movie makers will use certain frequencies to bring out really strong emotional reactions. Like Forrest Gump was filmed with the song between Jenny and Forrest and Little Forrest. In all of those emotional scenes, there was certain frequencies of instrumental music played around 432 hertz, which affects the heart chakra and really makes our hearts just feel like we're connected to the characters. And they know this. And that's why almost all rap beats have a certain frequency, and all country has a certain frequency, and all heavy metal has a certain frequency. So we want to acknowledge that they have energies around us. Yes. So Rhonda says, yes, I listen to music a whole different way now. Lyrics just hit so differently. And I start my day with the song Gratitude by Brandon Lake. That's awesome. Marty says, and you wonder what the place was that the artist was in when they wrote these songs. Yeah, you kind of listen to them and you go, oh, they weren't talking about that. But then when you listen to the lyrics, they really were talking about that. There really is no way around that. You can't kind of make exceptions to the rules. That clearly is what they were discussing. What could have been addiction, or it could have been something to do with the music industry or selling their soul for fame and glory. So you never know. But music is definitely something that affects the energy of people. And just go to a concert. Go to a concert, watch a concert, and you'll see very quickly there is a collective group consciousness that takes over. You look at that terrible disaster with the rapper. I'm not going to get into all of it, but where those 14 people died, the kids got crushed and killed at the concerts. And then you have concerts that are so peaceful, and you have other experiences with music that are so violent, where they want to rip cars apart and tear things down and burn things. You got to understand there's a collective experience that music does where it attunes people. But in the heavenly realms, I must say, music is always present in all heavenly realms, and it is very beautiful music. So music is a part of humanity, and it is something that our souls create and crave in heaven as well as earth. So just become aware of the music that you listen to. All right, number 2 on the list, something that affects your energy, you may not know it, is your media consumption. Oh my goodness, people don't want to hear this. Guys, I'm not telling you to stop watching football. In fact, I think sports is a great outlet for watching. I think sports is really good. So before you're like, I'm not listening to her, she's off her rocker, she's going to tell me to quit watching football on Sundays. No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that. What I was actually going to say is that the type of shows and programming that you watch really is programming your energy. Think about this. Programming. Okay, programming is exactly what it said. It's programming your mind what you should watch, what you should wear, what car you should drive, what food you should eat, what brand of perfume and cologne you should wear. And not only that, it is telling you a vision. That's what television was. It was taking what was in one person's mind and mass sending it to everybody to get them all to do something like drink Coca-Cola or, smoke a cigarette or eat this or that, whatever it is. So we have to realize television, programming, and the media as a whole is really something that is used to control people's minds so that they're living their life through watching other people doing what they themselves could get up and go do in their own life, okay? So having to see that, Brandon says, no news. It makes my soul hurt with the deaths and harm or negativity in the world. Yes, definitely. So Divine Goddess says, I have Pearl Jam tickets for next week's End. What are your thoughts on their energy? I think they have both positive and negative. I think that they spoke about some very real issues back in the day. Jeremy, obviously, was about the school shootings and what was starting to happen with these kids that were bullied, and they were beginning to retaliate and fight back against a system that they felt completely ignored by. I think every experience is what you make it to some degree. I mean, Astro World event was... that's when I looked at all the factors, I go, this was almost like planning. I mean, did they plan for them to get hurt? No, but there was some really overt occult references. If you've ever really dived into the Astro World tragedies, it just really shouldn't have happened. But if you're going to a concert, bubble yourself in white light. Send the white light of the Holy Spirit. I protect myself in the white light of Yeshua and the holy angels by day, by night. I protect my energy, and then feel it out. If you get a sensation that you shouldn't go to any event, don't go. Period. Just don't go. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you spent on it. If you have a feeling that you shouldn't be there, don't go to it. There was a lot of people that had sensations before the World Trade Center, or before getting on a plane, or before going to a concert, or they just felt ill, maybe began to be struck with an illness like a stomach ache or a headache or fever. And that was all really manufactured through the Holy Spirit or their guardians to protect them. So just feel it out, right? I'm not here to call it any one band or anything like that. I used to love Linkin Park back in the days. But after seeing, what happened, I have that very strong, I do not follow people that have transitioned, because their vibration is in a different place. And wherever we're vibrating with another person and we listen to them enough, we'll resonate at the same frequency. And so if you're trying to be above that frequencies, you have to be really careful. I've noticed shows like Green Acres show the male dominant role. Even in the song intro, you can see it. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of shows I will not watch. I don't watch I Love Lucy. I don't like The Honeymooners. I don't like Green Acres. I don't like pretty much any black and white show. I don't like the way that the portrayals of women were and the portrayals of men. I feel like men were very shortchanged as well, which in change made women look really, really, inept. And I think that was just where we were at in those times. But yeah, when you resonate with anything you watch too much of, you begin to think that's okay. That's the same with the gaming. If you game so much and, All in the Family. Oh my gosh, Marty, you're so right. All in the Family. I can't believe that was on. I don't even watch, to be honest with you. I mean, there's John Wayne movies I've tried to watch and I can't get through them. They turn my stomach. And I'm not a raging feminist. I'm not. I'm somebody that believes in the ability of everyone to have equality and for everyone to be treated based on their own merit, not by their race, not by their orientation, the color of their skin, or their gender. I think everybody deserves to be just based on their own actions and merit. Brandon says, I never realized it until I opened up to how things were being projected into the world as the way people should be. Yeah, that's the problem, is everything is a projection of what everything should be, from the way a woman should act, the way a man should act, the way a child should act, the way a person of ethnicities would be, the way a person of orientation should be, a religious person, a non-religious. I mean, we have all of these ideas. That's what the programming is. That's what those channels do, is they program us. And so we have to be very careful to try to stay out of the construct and really decide daily what our lives should look like, who our children should be, who we should be, and how we want to interact in the world. So my concern for you guys is, please be careful the energies of what you watch. And I want to specifically talk about two things. And if you have children watching this, I would ask you to step out of the room with them for a minute. I'm not going to get deep into the topic, but I do want to mention it is a adult subject. So 14 and up is fine, but 14 and under, not, or maybe even actually, no, we need to go 18 and up. Thank you. Marty says, thank God we're not in those times now. Yeah. Do you realize I wonder how many women were actually much more capable of helping to produce? Even look at Marie Curie, some of the most famous scientists and also authors, writers, and painters that had to use pseudonyms and couldn't write in their own names and actually couldn't take credit for their works in the laboratories. If we had both been allowed to explore our own individuality a lot sooner, how many more cures would we have? How many more cancers would we have cured? And I'm not saying it particularly that it would only be women, but just honestly, if we were all open to that, if the colleges of sciences and arts and anatomy and all of the STEM programs were open equally to men and women in NASA and in government and all these different positions, I'm not talking about Democrat, I'm not talking about Democrat and Republican. No, I'm not going there. I'm just saying in general, instead of training the one side of the room to go toward home economics and training the other side to go toward engineering and technology, if we had just treated that all the same and treated everybody to economics and everybody to engineering, where would we be now as a society? So let's see what we have. Marty says, thank God we're not in those times. And Kayla says, I think the betrayal of how a woman's body should look in the media is devastating. A lot of stars get surgery and then promote exercise, and then normal girls become so insecure. And let me tell you, I absolutely support this narrative. And it's not just normal girl, it's every woman. There's very few women, even myself, I have struggled with the feeling of being enough. And people say, you're a beautiful woman, Sunshine, you have everything going. And yet there's this unrealistic standard of beauty that changes, right? It was a blonde for a long time. Then it became the Latino, the Kardashians, dark hair, darker skin, tanner complexions, longer nails, shorter nails, curly hair, African American features, mixed race. It's just like there's always a changing beauty standard. And then it's really indoctrinated through the programming. So again, you just have to be careful about what you or your kids are consuming. I totally agree with this. Julie says, I'm very picky about what I watch for sure. And I love that. Even cartoons for children's shows even cartoons for children show things like it's okay females to be the house maid while being treated like crap and just be okay with it. Yeah, I will not watch any TV. Yeah, I don't watch television. I think it's very, very harmful to the brain. I think that you're programming, because remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. I don't know if you know that or not, but whatever goes in front of your eyes don't actually know whether it is a imagination or whether it is factual. So your brain takes all the stimuli in, and then it's up to you to emotionally regulate your brain. Now, this is the two things I wanted to talk about, and I think we've given ourselves enough time to get any littles out of the room or put your earbuds in. Two things I want to talk about: pornography and horror movies. I have done more house clearings than anybody can imagine from those two things, pornography and horror movies. People tell me, oh, I love horror movies. They're amazing. Okay, I'm not here to debate that. I'm not here to debate you on that. You can watch what you want. You're an adult. But when you glorify graphic violence against another human, and in all horror movies and in a lot of violent films, in fact, somebody that I really think is actually a horrible director is Quentin Tarantino. And I know a lot of people love his films. They think they're cult films. They're amazing. They're this and that. Let me tell you, I actually, I met Quentin Tarantino, and I can tell you that I have no use for him. And the way that his mind functions and works is so depraved. It's so depraved in a lot of ways. I mean, every one of his movies has extreme, gory violence with human upon human violence. And every single one of his movies has rape scenes with murder. Like every one of them has blood, gore, rape, and murder. I cannot watch any program, and I will not pay for a program. I won't sit through a movie or watch anything that is going to be me paying a director to directly reenact something that actually happened to a victim in real life, and we're glorifying that. We're glorifying it. If you've ever watched some of his movies all the way back, I'm like, that wasn't necessary. That right there wasn't necessary. We didn't have to have that in there. There was no use for that to be in that movie. It could have been scary without the pornography, without the rape scenes, without the, fingernails breaking, and without all these things. It's so violent and intensely violent to even act that out on an actor or actress. We understand it happens, and I'm not saying there isn't a place for some sort of educational things, but the amount of graphic violence that has gotten into regular television shows is crazy. The amount of pedophilia that seems to be in the televisions with these really young actresses. I'm not even talking about real life Hollywood, what's going on behind the scenes. I'm saying what has been graphically predisposed in the film industry for us to be shown and for us to consume that and be okay walking out of that theater like nothing just happened, like we were not a party to it. To me, when I'm watching it in a movie, it's the same as if I was watching it in person, because there was a set, there was people, and believe me, if you interview the people that are on set, they can feel the evil spirits that come into that set to make sure that that is as real as possible. They've had, I remember the actor that did the Joker. He was in different roles that they play. They lose their mind while going through those roles, and they really get into character so deeply and so darkly that when you're watching this through the film, you're feeling it, because, yeah, that's very literal what's going on. Those actual spirits are present. So I've had The Conjuring is one that I've had to do 4 or 5 house clearings because they watched something like The Conjuring and they started having paranormal activity in their house. They started having nightmares. They started having all different things going on in their house. What is it? Let's see. I know for sure The Conjuring, The Ring. What's Saw? Saw is definitely one. All of those films have had they're all filmed actually from what the Vatican and what real priests have actually removed from people's houses. These are actual exorcism, and they took excerpts from that to film and create these movies as logistical and as real as possible to bring in those scary and demonic entities and spirits. They want their actors to become indwelt with them because they want the realist experience for moviegoers. So when you watch that, you're actually allowing it. So just by watching a scary movie in your home, you're saying yes to those energies coming into your home. Just like a vampire, if you remember a vampire movie like Lost Boys, they have to be invited to come in. But most people don't realize when you buy the movies, you buy the music, you start putting it on, The Exorcist or any of these haunting movies, when you start putting these on, you've already said, yes, I agree with this. Yes, I drop my spiritual borders and boundaries. Yes, I want this in my life, in my eyes, in my ears, in my spirit, and I'm allowing it to be in my home. So just recognize that it's not just fun and games. And I'm going to stand on a ledge here and have people argue with me, and I'm fine with that. So if you want to go crazy in the comments, either for or against me, that's okay. I'm not going to delete your comments. I'm going to let you have your say, whether it's against or believe what I'm saying or don't. But you know what? I'm the one that's getting paid to go to people's houses and clear those energies. Okay. I'm the one that has other teams of people that go and actually do those. When the door is open, things come in, and Marty's done house clearings. I've done house clearings. We have many other friends and family that have done house clearings for people, and you open the portal by saying yes. So that's one, is the horror movie industry. The other is pornography. Now, I want to say, I understand that there's a recommendation in the context of adult relationships to have some pornographic or adult content material, but I want to warn you, and I mean, I want to really warn you that it is a fine line between what is exploitation of people and spirit that comes in. I have actually never seen a female porn star that hasn't been indwelt with spirit. When I see a female porn star, I have never seen one that doesn't have spiritual attachments. I've never seen it. From Jenna Jameson all the way down. And I'm not saying I watch the pornography, but I have, in the early days in the 90s, pornography was huge. And they would be like starlets, like Playboy, girls going everywhere. And I could actually see the attachments attached to them. Now, I will say that I did not see that with amateurs. But besides what Caitlin says, which is pornography is so unrealistic and degrading to women, it is 100% degrading in a lot of ways. But I can say that when women, or I can't really say this about men, but the females, and I know this is going to sound very sexist, but that's the only thing I can attribute it to, is that the females, that a lot of them that are involved in the industry, have just made this, and the males too, but typically the females are the ones I see who have no value to themselves. And they believe their value is completely based in the physical. And for the most part, it is. That's what they've built their life around. But I can tell you that when you get involved in pornography, it'll never be enough. It might start very innocently, very sugar and spice, but eventually that doesn't work. And then we go to something else, and then we're going to something else and something else and something else. And the problem is with that is that eventually a lot of people go down into dark corridors, which is like bondage, S&M type of stuff, violent videos, gang rapes, or anything that has to do with that is not going to be two consenting adults sharing an intimate moment that is a loving experience. It's actually taking advantage of somebody. So you have to be very careful, because again, you're letting the same energy back into your home and into your marriage. A lot of counselors will say they recommend couples watch pornography together. I can't tell you what a terrible idea I think that is. That's totally up to you guys. You're adults, do what you want to do. But I can tell you, it may seem good on the front side, but on the back side, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody is going to get hurt, whether it's you not feeling enough that you're enough as a man, or whether it's you not feeling enough as a woman, or whether you losing that attraction you had to each other because now you're so involved in being attracted to other people. Yes, children should not be exposed to this stuff because they can't tell what is real. Sex energy is sacred energy. Yes, it is. So what do you think about people that like BDSM? Not my thing. Just curious your opinion. I think that if a couple wants to express BDSM with themselves and each other, that is their choice, and I have no judgment on them. All I'm saying is that you need to be very careful the energy in which you're allowing into your home and into your mind, because if you're watching a professionally made pornography video that usually features BDSM, a lot of the time what you're seeing is that the person that's taking the abuse has had a history of abuse. That's why they're in that role in the first place. I've seen interviews because I worked in the sex industry with strip clubs for 10 years, and I can tell you almost every one of them that was involved in BDSM had some form of it in their childhood. They were acting out a role that they had been put into unfairly, and a lot of them were acting out positions of power and authority over their feeling weak, vulnerable, and insignificant, and they needed to kind of like recreate those familiarities to feel good rather than healing them. So I'm not here to tell people not to do it. I'm just here to tell you what is important. Therapists are saying that now there are men who have watched so much pornography that they can no longer become aroused by sex with regular partners. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And I would say we just need to be careful what we're allowing in our energy. So be careful what you watch, what you allow around you, the people that you allow around you, and the things that you're giving your energy to. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about today is how to clear it, right? We've talked about all these different ways we can pick up negative energy, places, the DMV, the doctor's office, friends can bring it, your job can bring it. But what if you don't know how you got it, but you just feel drained and you have some really negative energy? You just feel tired. You feel like you can't get off the sofa. You can't motivate. Your house is dirty. You just don't have any of this. Let's talk about this real quick. Brandon says, I'll be honest. In my past, me and my ex had third party and watched porn together, and it really broke my heart, and it's not been the same since. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we play with fire, somebody's going to end up getting burned. So even though it may be boring and somewhat mundane, it is better to dress your relationship up by getting emotionally connected than by stimulating the visual centers and adding a lot of excitement, because you can't keep that up. And then what was once normal is now boring, and the brain isn't getting the same dopamine hits. So it's better to recreate an emotional connection with your partner than it is to try to create more dopamine for those sexual experiences. Okay. So again, we're all adults, make your own decisions, but this is regarding energies. Okay. Energetics don't lie. So let's talk about some ways we can clear our energy. Number one, sage. Sage is great, but it's not necessarily indigenous to a lot of people. And I want to say that Native Americans that have been collecting and harvesting sage for thousands of years don't really appreciate the mainstream culture of just taking it and selling it in every store. And it's really left a lot of the indigenous people, especially right where I'm at in California and in the southwestern United States, where sage is a natural medicinal plant and is all over the country, that it really does harm their industry and their indigenous ways. So we need to be careful that we are getting ethically sourced sage. I try never to buy my sage from the stores or even Amazon. If you have the ability to get it, resourced, go to the internet and please get ethically sourced sage if you can find it, because there are indigenous people that live on growing it, collecting it properly, harvesting it ethically, giving the water, the tobacco, doing a prayer for Mother Earth, and really their sage is better anyway. So I just want to say that. I'm not encouraging everybody to go out and buy a billion bundles of sage, okay? So I want to say that first of all. I want to say secondly, sage is not my Native American. I'm not a Native American person. I'm actually a Nordic, and I practice Seidr. So for the Caucasian or the pale-faced tribes, actually rosemary is a great way to clear energy. Rosemary is wonderful. So is heather, which is a Celtic herb. And we also can use cinnamon. We can blow cinnamon into the atmosphere. We can use Palo Santo, which again is not, it's for a Native American person, but if you live here and you have access to it, it's wonderful. I like to make simmer pots, and I can make simmer pots from just cinnamon sticks, a little bit of lemon wedges, orange wedges, and you can actually add a little bit of essential oils or even peppermint. I love growing peppermint. I think peppermint is super clearing. It doesn't have exactly the same ability to use the smoke, but you can actually take, I love Indian temple incense also. So if you're familiar with temple incense, Indian incense sticks, I can use incense to clear a location just as easily as I can use sage. So I've had, there's discussions on both sides of this with cultural appropriation. So I did kind of move away from using a lot of sage into using more incense, right? So I use incense cones, and I also use like sweetgrass and rosemary. I use birch bark in a lot of mine, which birch bark is a Scandinavian tree bark that we use to start our fire. And I love birch bark. I carry it in a little pouch, and I'll put it in my incense bowl, and I'll use my cones and my temple incense. So there's many ways to do it, but smoke clearing is great for doing it. But if you have asthma, smoke clearing may not be your thing. So you can make a simmer pot, and I'll do some more videos on this later on my YouTube channel. But simmer pots are basically made of herbs and fruits or oils, and you simmer the pot, and then you cool the ingredients, put them in a spray bottle, bless it, even with some crystals or salt, and then you use those as a homemade clearing spray. So you don't have to always use smoke if you have someone that has different oxygen needs or asthmatics or people that can't handle smoke as well. That's a wonderful thing to do. So that's one way I clear. And I also clear with candles. So I clear the energy with candles around my house. And another thing that I do is I take baths. So I clear my home with sage, Palo Santo, rosemary, simmer pots. I also use white candles and go around the room, and I'll use cinnamon. And I also bless my broomstick as I sweep out the energies. And I even started blessing my vacuum powder. You can make some carpet powder. I'll get into one of those videos, but you can bless baking soda with essential oils and a little salt. And you can sprinkle that on to get rid of any negative or old residual energies that have fallen down or hidden in the corners. And you can vacuum those up and actually vacuum in the white light. Believe it or not, there's nothing you can't do in the white light with good magic, right? Or healing magic, or with prayers. Okay. And the other thing you could do is clear your own energy by breathing down the white light, saying the Holy Sacred Rosary, praying the Our Father prayer. You can also do a circle of protection around yourself in the pentacle. You can even take what I call the Saint's Bath, which is where I take a heavily salted bath, and I go from the left to the right, chakra by chakra, clearing my energy, and then allowing that water to drain through 10 or 12 deep cleansing breaths, letting all of the energy flow from me into the water and allowing it to drain. Brandon says, always be respectful to the lineage of the practice and the sacred ways it is used. I always do this when saging. I ask the Native American spirits or tribes to show me and guide me. That's respectful and to show honor to them. Yeah, so I live in such a special and diverse place. We have the Pechanga Indians, we have the San Pasqual, we have, oh my gosh, I know I'm missing so many. I really wish Mr. Sunshine would work here, because I know that he'd have so many more. I'm thinking San Miguel, I can't pronounce them all, but there's so many beautiful Indian tribes around me. And we have such a blessing to drum with them in our drum circles. So if I have questions, I ask them directly, and they respect me as a Nordic Volva and a teacher of Sather, and they definitely acknowledge me. They go, "Hello, our Viking leader," and so I go, "Hello, my brother. Hello, my sister." So it's a love and a respect thing, definitely. Thank you, Ali. So I'm very excited to share this with you. But a saint's bath, a heavily salted bath, can help you to clear your negative energy from your energy field, and it can even clear from the body as well. Yes, the Mission Indians. Thank you, Marty. I was going to say San Luiso. I never say it quite right, and I always murder it. So I want to make sure that I didn't say it correctly, and I know that, but I'm still acknowledging them. There's so many casinos. I just got to think about the casinos around me. And there's pretty much a band of Native American indigenous peoples all around us. So we always have that option. And then my best friend is from the same tribe as Pocahontas, the Powhatan Indians, and he's my best friend. So I get a lot of Native American advice, and they're always telling me how to do it, and then I tell them how to do the same for us. I use birch bark and actually take the deer antlers, and how we clear energy is with deer antlers. I have a set of antlers, and I go around clearing it with the energy, and we use the salt and the sage. So very good. Divine Energy Goddess or Divine Intuitive Goddess says frequencies are great for clearing. I couldn't agree more, and that's why we use bells. We'd like to play music in the studio, but frequencies are huge, and they break up bonded negative energy chains. So music, back to the music, frequency of music is very important. And in the studio, I'm always playing some background music. I don't know if I can play this, if you would hear it or not. And I don't know if I'm deleting myself by doing this, but I was just going to play something in the. Can you guys hear this? It's probably drowning me out, but I just wanted you to hear this for a minute. Tell me if you can hear this. So I'm playing a nice 963 hertz piano clearing frequency from the Holy Angels. I don't know if we can actually hear it in New York. StreamYard is probably not able to hear both of them, but you can always play that. And there's so many beautiful free videos that create frequency music for healing that are on the internet already. So just letting you know, you can always do that. And I'm always playing background music in my studio. All right, everybody. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Oops, let's see. Can you hear me now? Let me make sure you can hear me. All right, there we go. I'm back on. So what I was saying is when you put on background frequency music, it is beautiful to feel those energies flowing out into all four corners. So if you just put your Alexa on clearing binaural beats or higher frequency God music like 432 to 963 or even higher, you're going to have a beautiful energy within your office or your home. And my energy, this is Spirit Doctor Studios 1, and we have Spirit Doctor Studios 2, and then we're going to have our Spirit Uncensored filming podcast room, and that's Studio 3. And in all of these different studios, what is amazing is that I play these frequencies in the studio, and people can feel it when they come in. They go, wow, the energy in here. And I know instantly it's because the frequencies. I never turn the energy of the music off. It plays all night, all day, except when I'm in session. And even then, I keep it going in the background because I want to always make sure we have really high vibrational music. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Miss Patricia. Thank you, Jake. So let's see what Caitlin has to say. Finishing up, Caitlin says, side note, I really like the YouTube Live better than the TikTok. I can open my text and I can still watch you at the same time, Sunshine. Well, I'm so glad. I know that we're just starting out. We just have a little bitty One Tribe crew here on YouTube. We just have a tiny little presence on such a big international world stage. But you know what? We're going to keep building the One Tribe YouTube because we want to love on our international audience. You know, I have the opportunity to get to know and to love people that live in Canada. We have One Tribe Australia. We have One Tribe in New England. We have One Tribe the UK. We have One Tribe in Scotland, Ireland, and we have them in New Zealand. We have One Tribe members in South America, in Costa Rica and Puerto Rico. We have One Tribe members in Canada, Russia, and Belarus. I just want to bring us together under one umbrella by having this international opportunity to give you all hugs. And the reason we came on here is so that we can allow them to watch it in their own time, because I know what it meant to me to have my favorite YouTubers when I was just folding laundry or making kids dinners or cleaning the kitchen, what it meant to me as a mom or as a person to be able to watch somebody that really inspired me. So when I get to watch Sylvia Browne or somebody, when I used to do that and I was a young mom and I'd be folding my laundry and watching her show, I just felt like so much love and so much inspiration. And I felt like I got to learn and I got to be part of something bigger than myself. And for me, that's what the YouTube channel is. It's a chance for me to give back and to give you an opportunity. Maybe your little one's not sleeping. Maybe you're having a day of stress and you feel alone. Maybe you're feeling like nobody gets you or the gifts, or maybe you're having experiences with spirit or angels, or you're questioning things, or you feel like, you know, everybody should be happy, but they're not. Whatever it is, you know, I want to let you know you're not alone. That's why we do the YouTube, because I want you to watch these on your time, when you have time, and I want you to enjoy the energy and the love that we put into every episode to be here for you guys. So Marty says, we did a lot of sound bowls and chimes for our group healings. Yes, definitely. And Joe says, yay, go One Tribe. So we want to thank you. And if you're part of the One Tribe, we have a Southeast One Tribe, which is the Southern One Tribe. We have the New England One Tribe. We have the Midwest One Tribe. We have the Southwest, or the SoCal One Tribe. If you were from one of these places, let us know where you're from. If you're in Canada, let us know. If you're from the UK, if you're watching, I actually have followers all over the world. Since I was on Next Level Soul, it expanded our ability to get our message out there all over the world. So it's just been such a blessing. I've got to do readings in Norway and Sweden and Denmark, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And I'm really looking forward to doing our traveling next year. I know we're still getting prepped up. We're hoping to leave May 1st, which is 5 days before our son's birthday, and we're hoping to travel from California to Florida, and from Florida all the way up to Massachusetts, and then across the country to come back home. So we should be traveling May through June of next year. And then we have our One Tribe family gathering. At the end of it, we'll be meeting in Sedona and then coming back home. So if you didn't catch us when we were on the road, we will be in Sedona. We'll be in Sedona. I believe it's June 2nd through the 15th. And we'll be doing, let's see, I have it written down. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you right now what it is. So in June, we will be there from the 11th to the 15th, June 11th through the 15th in Sedona. That will be when we do our family gathering, our One Tribe gathering. We'll be doing our baptisms. We'll be doing some group healings, a teaching. It's going to be quite amazing. So put it on your calendars. We'll be in Sedona, Arizona. Plan to be there with us. And if you want to know more about our travels, we're going to keep talking about them from now till May. We're going to be at the Thousand Trails Campground. So we're going to be traveling. We have a Thousand Trails membership that was gifted to us. So that's how we're traveling. So if you have a Thousand Trails camping or resort near you, please put it in the comments below so we can see how close we're going to be to getting a chance to meet you. I will be doing some teachings, some healings, and some group readings while I'm at each of our destinations. So please let us know the closest Thousand Trails campground or resort near you, because we have not mapped out our whole experience. And it would be very exciting to get a chance to come there and to work with you and to meet you in person. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful episode of Spirit Uncensored, where we talk about energy, how to heal it, how to save it, how to grow it, and how to clear it. We'll also be doing some more of these. All right. I am viewing from Australia. What part of Australia are you from, Divine Intuitive Goddess? That's what I mean. The One Tribe is a soul collective that is picking up speed around the world because people are just ready to heal. They're ready to heal and they're ready to come together for something bigger than themselves. Andrea says Thousand Trails campgrounds and resorts. So they will not be called Thousand Trails, but they'll be listed within the Thousand Trails campground, meaning that they're part of just like the Hyatts are all over the world, although they may not be called Hyatts, they're part of that chain. So make sure you look it up and put it in the comments below, and make sure that you comment after this. And I want to say hello and welcome to everyone that will view this now on the live show, and for those watching in the future. If you're going to watch me on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, please let us know where you watched us from, and continue to like, share, and love. And we'll have another episode out next Friday. And I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping Mr. Sunshine can join us next Friday. We're going to see him play it by ear, but I will be live next Friday at 6:30. I want to say thank you to all of our moderators for being here. Make sure that you go to the YouTube app and sign up for your own account on the YouTube app. It is totally free. And also make sure that you subscribe to the channel, Spirit Doctor Sunshine Frost. If you're watching this on Facebook, thank you so much for being here, Facebook. You know I love you. You've been with me since the very beginning. If you're from TikTok, thank you for being here. I will be on live on Sunday doing live readings on TikTok at 6:30. So 6:30 to 8 o'clock, I will be on live if you'd like to book a reading. And then I'll also be on live on Thanksgiving Day doing readings from loved ones and angels from the other side. So I don't want you to be on Thanksgiving by yourself. I want you to know that you are here with your One Tribe spirit leader, and we're going to have Thanksgiving together. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right, everybody, have a wonderful time tonight. Remember to control your energy. Think about it. Don't give it away, and don't go bankrupt. I will see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.